Oh, yeah.
Hello and welcome to Talk of Your Game. It's just finished. West Ham United 1, Stoke City 1, a late equaliser for West Ham. We're going to go through the highlights. In the first half, not much happened. Half chances for Doof and Boyer for Stoke, and then Marko Arnautovic whacked Butland in the goal. We had to make sure he wasn't dead. Went in 0-0 at half-time. Gonzo, what was your thoughts at half-time?
Boring, really boring. I just wondered if I was going to be able to stay awake to do this review. I was disappointed with the starting lineup, very disappointed. Hernandez hadn't started, disappointed to see Fernandez in there, Mario in there, not being wise after the event. We discussed it in the preview, of course. And just very disappointed about boring and what a lack of urgency we had and just how negative we were. And I think, as I wrote on the forum, isolated Arnautovic up front again.
Yourself, what was your thoughts at half-time?
Echo what Gonzo said, mate, completely. It was just complete and utter dire, really. It was boring. It was no quality. Arnautovic was twooed up on sometimes three people playing starting formation 5-4-1 at home against the team 19th, and I think they've got a really, really bad goal deficit, and we're playing 5 at home. It's just horrific, Gio. And what do we expect? And that's what we got. The first half was that. However, it's just crap, mate. We had a lot of possession, but it's just there's nothing to do with it because we're just too defensive minded.
I think the first half summed David Moyes up perfectly. A point suited him tonight. It keeps us out of that. It keeps us away from that bottom three. It's probably virtually guaranteed our safety at that point as well. And that first half smelt of, I'm happy with a point here. Every time we went forward, the build-up was extremely slow. I'll tell you what, though, Mark Noble was fantastic in the first half. There was a few of his passes. He was pinging them about, and he was trying to get something going. But it was in the first 5 minutes, I think, Arnautovic broke down the left. He had to take on Shawcross about 3 times just to try and buy time for someone to get in the box. And this is where everyone went, this is why we wanted to see Hernandez. But it's just David Moyes, we're just not going to see it. We're not going to see any risk. He doesn't need to risk it. Why would he risk it? He doesn't need to. And then in the second half, Arnautovic had a header rightfully disallowed from Aaron Creswell cross. Then Fernandez's goal was ruled offside. Tom, do you agree with that decision?
Yeah. But both they were offside, mate. Correct decisions. Yeah, you can't argue with them.
As did I, but I thought I'd just check that everybody else was in agreement. Then in the 75th minute, Hernandez came on for Fernandez. But Gonzo, in the 78th minute, the sub that happened before that, Paul Lambert had done 2 subs before David Moyes, and one of his subs got the opening goal. Shaqiri's shot, Joe Hart fumbled it, exactly like he did against Burnley, off the chest, down into 6-yarder, and Crouch was the one that was there. 1-0 Stoke.
Yeah, well, you've described it perfectly. No point me describing it again, of course. But I was pretty angry, to be honest with you, at that time. And really, you look at the 2 goal scorers, but, you look at Peter Crouch coming off to see a game sort of decided by those 2 target men. It was probably a bit of a dream for both managers involved, really, in that sense. It's very, very hard to sum up and to put into words because I'm incredibly frustrated. And do you know what? This is the review, and you have to pick over the individual points, like the offside goals and the incidents, and the incident with the goal itself. But there's just a bigger picture in this one. I've got the ump about it at the moment, I must admit. And when that goal went in, I was absolutely fuming. I started, kids gone to bed, so I was having to not shout too loud at the telly, so to speak. Do you know what I mean? There's a bigger picture, and I'm really, really worried about this whole thing about Moyes. They're impressed with Moyes, and he's going to be walking into a new contract and all the rest of it. I don't get it. And I'll tell you what, I was delighted and relieved that we scored that second goal, which we'll talk about in a second. But I'll tell you what, he very, very nearly learnt a very harsh lesson in Moyes. And I'll tell you what, we didn't deserve it, us fans, but he would have deserved it for the way that he's set up. Disgusted today.
Tom, you reap what you sow sometimes. Did we deserve to go going down to Stoke? At the end of the day, their manager made subs and our manager didn't.
Well, yes, exactly right. In possession-wise, and we totally dominated possession up to that point, and but as you're right, goals win points, as Michael Owen famously says, and all that sort of thing. And Joe, I don't know what Joe Hart's doing. Southgate's in the crowd today. He's not going to Russia now. He's not going. I'm sorry. I mean, how can you do that? And as Gonzo mentioned, he's done it previously for us this year. I don't know what it is with him. You know, I mean, you go from man of the match performance last week against Chelsea to that. I mean, and if he doesn't do that, and Andy Carroll scores his goal, we get another 2 points. It's these fine margins that's going to cost us probably potentially hugely coming into the season, Joe. It's just not good enough. But you're right, David Moyes set up. It's just pathetic. 5 at back. I mean, I just don't get it, mate. I really don't get it. And it's different. It's just. Oh, mate, I don't know. Yeah, well, I'm just angry and frustrated as much as Gonzo.
The one player I'm going to criticise here a little bit is Zabaleta. He's keeping 2 Stoke players. He's about 2 yards behind all the other defenders, Zabaleta. He's standing there in the 6-yarder at the other side. So when the ball comes out, it's 2 Stoke players there. Crouch gets it first. But you can see Zabaleta a little bit surprised that he's the only one there. And it's unusual for him to make such a, what you'd expect from an inexperienced defender to make that error. But I wasn't surprised when they went on goal down. We were on top for a lot of the game today without creating massive chances. Doof missed an absolute sitter for Stoke earlier in the second half as well. And that's what triggered Paul Lambert. As soon as he missed that, Lambert went, right, Jeff Cameron's going on. Now, I think that was the wrong sub. I think that actually took the wind out of Stoke's sails. But then he reacted to that and thought, right, I'm putting Crouch on. And then you thought, well, you know what? At least their manager's doing something about it. It's not working. He's not scored. He's doing something. While ours was standing there. He's got 3 strikers on the bench, Lanzini on the bench, and he was just standing there watching the game. You know, Butland didn't have a hard save to make all game. He didn't have to do an outstanding save. That one that hit him in the face, it wasn't really a save. It just hit him. He didn't have anything. He didn't know about it. Then there came all these claims. First one, Gonzo, Hernandez went down with Martins Indy. Was that a pen for you?
No.
You can't even remember it that well.
No. Sorry, no. I was getting confused with the Carroll one, which I did think was.
So you think the Carroll one, when he's grappling Martins Indy, is a pen?
Yes, I do. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Tom, did you see either of these? Were either of these a pen for you?
Well, yeah, the Carroll one for me was a pen. I mean, if it's any other player, referees obviously just don't give it because it's Carroll, and the linesman's looking right at it, and I don't know why the linesman doesn't give it. You know, he's literally holding on to Carroll, and near enough throws him to the floor, so that's a penalty. But hey, you can't. I mean, you win some, you lose some, that sort of thing. And then Hernandez won my actual stream actually sort of on my iPad sort of when I was watching on Sky sort of thing, but I've heard it was a handball apparently. So.
The Carroll one for me is a bit difficult because I think Carroll's given as much as he's getting. I think he is proper barging back, and at one point he throws his arm back as well. It's a bit like when Arnautovic and Shawcross had that tussle halfway through the second half. Arnautovic was just backing back, and Shawcross was trying to get around. They were just both at it, and those are the types of things I think the referee should let go. Yes?
Look it round, mate. If we're defending a corner and Carroll's doing that to one of the Stoke forwards, like Shaqiri or something, it's a penalty. He's going to give a penalty. What's the difference? I don't get what the difference is. It's because it's Andy Carroll, mate. It's
Carroll's giving it back. Carroll's giving it back to the defender. They're both at it. I think they're both fouling each other.
No, it looked more the other way for me, mate. More a pen, to be honest with you.
Back onto the game, 18 minutes. Lanzini came on for Masuaku, and in the 85th minute, Andy Carroll come on for Lanzini. Gonzo in the preview said he didn't really like Carroll, didn't want to see Carroll. But credit where credit's due. Lovely ball in from Creswell on the volley. Lovely goal.
Wonderful finish, really good finish, you know, and much needed and very, very welcome, regardless of what I said in the preview. We needed that. We desperately needed that. You know, that has probably kept us up, you know, and I did say, I think I said a couple of weeks ago, I thought 35 points might do it. Are we on 35 now?
I think so.
I think that's done it. So have we got there? You know, I think we've stumbled and tripped and fallen and dribbled and sputtered across the line rather than sort of crossed it. You know, run across the line with it with glory and our arms held aloft. Crikey, we are lucky. There's been, if this season there are 3 worse teams than us. But yes, the goal, Andy Carroll, lovely finish and full marks to him for it's hard. I think if you've been out for a long time to have that technique, that was wonderful technique, that goal, and to be rusty like he is and to score that at a vital moment when it was needed. Brilliant.
Tom, is that the type of goal that's going to go unappreciated, if you like? There's nothing majestic about it. There's no obscene amount of power. He doesn't throw his body about. He just sort of side puts it into the far net. But it's a very, very difficult finish, I think, and he makes it look easy.
Yeah, I mean, all credit to Andy Carroll. You know, I was giving him pelters on when I see him warming up before Hernandez come on. I was giving a few obscenities on Twitter because I just didn't think someone who's been out for that long injured and then is going to potentially come on before a guy who's been banging the goals in for us. I didn't think that was right. But Hernandez did come on for and Carroll come on afterwards. But I mean, I think he only threw Carroll and Lanzini on after, obviously, because we've 1-0 down. You know, we're chasing the game. And look, full credit to Carroll. It was a fantastic body, mate. Yeah, it was a fantastic goal. You can't take away from him. And now what the time he's been out was probably cost it's a £1 million goal, isn't it? Really.
Gonzo, 1-1 it finished. What's your thoughts? Are you happy with the point because we're virtually guaranteed safety, or are you a bit pissed off at the display?
I'm really pissed off with the display, and perhaps I should be happy. I guess there's relief. There's no happiness. There is relief, as I say. There's no glory in today. We take nothing from today. I think you were right what you said. I think he did set up for a draw. I think you can look at things. I think we can look at heart. I think we can look at things that might not have been ruled out. I think we can look at the fact that we have possession. But I'll tell you something. You asked about the first half. I write little things down, as I'm sure you do, and I know we're going to do a review. And first half, I'm thinking, okay, I'm always conscious who you're going to ask man of the match. After the first half, I had Declan Rice and Angelo Ogbonna as the two guys. So that is quite reflective of how we played. So let's get that right. So all these little things, and I don't think Joe Hart is to blame. I do lots of things to blame, Zabaleta, as you say, but I think this is about the ethos. I think this is about the mindset of how we have planned and how David Moyes has planned to go for this game today, and that was nothing short of shocking. Hernandez on the bench was bad. To not realise how Fernandez was struggling. All right, he had a goal ruled out, out and all the rest of it. To see how Mario wasn't really working for him, to leave it so late as he always does, to make any substitutions, to get it wrong and to get your setup wrong against a team who are conceding goals left, right and centre, to not go for it in what is our easiest game for the remainder of the season is one thing. But then when you realise that it's not going right and actually your tactics are not going for you, to then leave it so late to change it, that crowd were desperate for something to sing about. Give us something to cheer about. The moment they had something to cheer about, they did. Terrible, terrible. Very, very unhappy today, actually.
Tom, we're virtually guaranteed safety. Is it job done at the end, Dave? Point ticked off. Well done, West Ham. Or are you a bit pissed off as well?
I mean, you're just saying they were guaranteed safety, Joe. Nothing's safe in this. I mean, we wasn't expecting West Brom to beat Man United yesterday. Everyone was expecting us to do the job today, even myself included. I was expecting us to get 3 points today. It's 2 points dropped. As I said to you, mate, it's huge, huge, huge. Sorry, not huge. The margins are very fine. And yeah, we are 7 points clear, and we should be safe. But nothing's, mate. I tell you now, mate. We've got 4 of our last 5 games are horrific. We've got some really strong opposition. I know we've got mainly home games. But I come in, Joe. I mean, there's nothing guaranteed, mate, in this world. Yeah, 35 points should see us safe. But you're right, stumbling across the line. Is this what we wanted? Is this what we want? The manager, it's just shit, mate. Absolute fucking shit. So now, sorry for swearing.
It's all right. I have to agree. It's 2 points dropped tonight, and it's 2 fingers to the fans. It's a case of I don't care what you're coming to this ground for. I don't care what you want to see. I don't care if you want to see attacking football. I don't care if you want to see Hernandez. We want a point, and we want a guaranteed Premier League safety at all costs. And if that means boring you for 90 minutes and scraping against Stoke City, then that's what we're going to do. And I just think it's 2 fingers to the fans. And the cheek is at halftime. Obviously we weren't there tonight, but cheek is at halftime. They're putting that video up about renewing your season ticket after that 45 minutes of football.
And don't forget, Joe. And if you don't like it, mate, you can always go watch Brady's program on +1 or something, or watch that instead of the game.
It's just the cheek of it. Like, they just don't. Someone at that club doesn't understand. The thing is, though, I actually don't think any of our players played bad tonight. This was what makes it even worse. I actually don't think they played bad. It's just the setup. The whole system was pathetic from the start. I'll say about 80% of West Ham fans wanted Hernandez to start tonight alongside Arnautovic. Social media was fuming before the ball was kicked. And there is some people who say, well, give it a chance, give it a chance. But we have given it a chance. This isn't the first time it's happened. This isn't the first time we've been bored. This isn't the first time we've scraped a point against someone at home. We're at home against a team that's 19th in the league. Now, I don't think their defence is as bad as this stats show, and I think they've been quite decent enough under Lambert. But that doesn't excuse you not for having any intention to go for it. That doesn't let you off. It was just pathetic out there in that first half. I thought 1 or 2 players played really well. We created a couple of half chances, but is this what Premier League football is now? Is this what it is? Just scrape something and fight at all costs, bugger your entertainment, bugger trying to win the game. As long as at the end of the season we're not in the bottom three, it's just job done and we can all pack up and go home and go to the beach happily. It's just, I think a lot of people are going to be pissed off tonight. It doesn't feel like a defeat, but when you score a 90-minute goal, usually that gives you a sense of euphoria. We're not getting that tonight. We're not sensing that. We're sensing that we've mugged Stoke off, if anything. Right, we'll get your final thoughts later. But Gonzo, individual performances as always. Is there any you'd like to praise?
Yeah, I think you're right on Noble. I think Arnautovic toiled and tried his hardest as always. Well, Cresswell did some good things. He was in a lot of the time our biggest goal threat, which is ridiculous, by the way. And I thought Zabaleta. He's a good player, Zabaleta. Oh, you were right. You were right. We've got some good players, we really do. And back to the two that I did say at the start, I actually I did write on the forum. After 11 minutes and 28 seconds, Ogbonna had cleared the ball 5 times. 5 times. So yeah, Ogbonna and Rice were decent. Nothing wrong with those players, by the way. Yeah.
Did anyone have a poor game, Gonzo?
Yeah, I thought Fernandes had a poor game. Mario's not up to the Premier League, I'm sorry to say. He's not really up to it. I don't think you can have anyone in the team that might play maybe one every 4 games and have a good game. With God's grace and a fair wind when everything is going in his favour. And Masuaku was quiet, actually. A game you sort of needed his drive and his thrust. Very little from him. And obviously, you've got to look at Joe Hart for the goal as well, of course.
Tom, anyone that played good or anyone that played bad for you?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give Pelters. Well, you got Joe Hart. I mean, sorry, it's not good enough. Fine margins. Sorry, that them sort of mistakes. A keeper of his quality and age and experience is not good enough. It's not the first time he's having this. So Joe had a poor game, but no, Gonzo mentioned him there. Declan Rice, who was actually challenging the first half. One of our players, and I think one of the Stoke, and he come across and covered it, and he read it so well. So Declan Rice was fantastic for me. He was a stand-up player today. Yeah, I mean, you're right, Gio. You can't. All the players had okay-ish games apart from Joe Hart from the mistake. You're right. It's just the tactics, the way it's set up, and that falls firmly at Moyes' feet. It's just not good enough. And I've only just noticed something as well. Is Gonzo wearing a Chelsea shirt?
Yeah, right. I love it, don't I? Yeah.
I think Noble was superb in the first half. In the second, he faded, but in the first half, he was pinging a few decent crosses. Every time he got the ball, he was looking to go quick and long to Arnautovic. But the problem was, when Arnautovic won it, it was about 40 yards before the next guy, and that was the problem. Everybody could see what was going on. I feel a bit sorry for Mario. He's definitely a good player, but there was one point in the first half, Arnautovic does that dummy and he flicks it around the corner for Arnautovic. He's clearly got the talent. It's just when he's got the ball and he looks up, he's only got one guy in front of him. What's he meant to do? He's a forward-thinking player. He's a player that doesn't want to go backwards. He wants to keep going forward. But how the hell is he meant to go forward when he's got one guy against 3 defenders to aim for? He's got nothing in front of him. I still feel sorry for Fernandes. I still think he's got about 3 different roles to do when he plays for some strange reason. I think he's right wing back, right midfield, right wing, centre mid. I think either he's running about like a headless chicken or he's got so much instructions to do that it's sort of shackling him completely. You're throttling his talent altogether. He's clearly got talent. He's a very good player. But, when you saw him, how gutted he was when his goal got ruled out, he's got that in his locker. But there's something throttling him just now. I think Ogbonna, Rice, brilliant at the back. I think Cresswell played really well today. There was a few crosses he did that Masuaku should be taking note, thinking I need to do more of this, actually. And Arnautovic was himself. But before we go on to the man, to play poorly, Hart was piss. But I'll say Chiati just offers nothing. He didn't play bad. He just doesn't offer anything. There's no point having him on the pitch when the game is passing him by like that. Now, he didn't give away the ball away a lot. He didn't do anything wrong. It's just that he didn't contribute anything to the game. That's the problem. But what's your final thoughts on the game as such then, Tom? This is your last chance to have a rant, if you like.
I mean, it just comes down to, I'm going to sound like a broken record. Playing 5 at the back at home against Stoke. I've got no words, Gio. I mean, we knew how it's going to be, really. When we see that, and the fact he hasn't played Hernandez either, and mate, I've got no words. It's just lacklustre, you know. Yet again, you know, as you said, 75 minutes for his first change. 3 minutes later, we concede, and we're chasing the towels all the time. At home against Stoke. No offence to Stoke, you know, they've done well. They've battled hard today, and that could be the thing that turns their season, you know. But it's just not good enough, Gio. We just 2 points drop. And as for Joe Hart, I mean, what do? He's done himself no favours. He's not on the plane to Russia now. He's done that in front of Southgate. It's embarrassing. Like a guy of his quality, you know, and his experience, it's just not good enough. It's not good enough, Gio. You can't drop the ball like that, like he does. And it's happened too many times this season.
Gonzo,
we have some good players. Javier Hernandez is a very good player. He's a striker, a proven striker. Mark Noble's a good midfielder. Arnautovic, very good player. Masuaku can be good. The 2 centre-backs were very, very good. We have got some very good players. But I tell you now, they are weighed down by the chains and shackles of David Moyes' tactics. And I mean it. I don't even mean just metaphorically speaking. They are weighed down. They look like they're carrying weights around with them that stops them being creative. You talk about Fernandez. Fernandez is one. He could be something else, but he is weighed down. You talk about Chiate. Perhaps Chiate isn't good enough. If he just was brave enough to take Chiate and Fernandez out there and put 2 different players in there, a proper midfielder for Chiate, and maybe just Lanzini for Fernandez, something like that, we would have made a world of difference. It really would. And it's not just Stoke. This is what we're doing. We set up today like we were playing Brazil. But we weren't. We were playing Stoke, and we looked like we were scared of them. And the first thing we did was invite them onto us. And I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of clicking on Claret and Hugh and reading that he's going to be given a new contract. And then it pops up, ex-West Ham employee. It looks like Moyes is staying. I'm sick of reading it. They're both briefed. So it looks like it's happening. It can't happen. If they think it's a good idea, it's not. There was empty seats tonight, loads of them, loads of white seats. If they don't want empty seats, they need to sort that out. I'll tell you what, that was the worst of it today. And he got let off the hook by throwing. He just kept on. I mean, very unmoisey. He was panicking. Just forward, attacking midfielder. Crikey. It was like Bilic in his first season at the Boleyn. That wasn't Moyes. And I'll tell you what, he lucked in. He got lucky. He was like a guy at the flaming roulette table who tucked his last couple of chips down and he lucked in. That's it.
It's we have the cheapest manager of the Premier League, and you can tell. We've got cheap tactics. It smells cheap. It looks cheap. It just feels cheap. Everything feels cheap just now. But if this is their solution, and what the bloody hell was the question? Because I cannot come up with a question which made David Moyes the answer, unless it included the word desperation, because that's the only thing that makes me think that David Moyes is the answer for. And if this is what we've got to look forward to next season, you know, that stadium's going to empty faster than they. You know, we can't say much because we're not there tonight, but it's a Monday night, it's a school night. We've all got commitments, whether it's children or geography or whatever. But the thing is, though, we want bums on seats. We want entertainment. We're not getting any of that tonight. We've got good players out there and on the bench. The problem is the better players are on the bench tonight than on the first team, because David Moyes does not have the cojones to put them in the first team and go all out attacking. Well, not all out attacking and slow. Just play 2 attacking players. That's all we're asking for, Dave. Just 2, please. Just 2. It's just something, anything. You could stick with these 5 at the back as long as it goes 5-3-2 or something.
No, not even that, Gio. 5 at the back against Stoke. They had 1 up top. They had, what's his name? Diouf up top. 5. I know you got 3 wing backs, but 3. It just doesn't make sense, mate.
He's got, I don't know what he's even doing. The other thing that I got, and this is insignificant to the game as it unfolded, what Will says, what the point is Hugo on the bench for? I put out on Twitter, and no one can answer me. Name a scenario which David Moyes would have had to bring on Hugo, considering he had Carroll, Hernandez, and Lanzini on the bench. He was never bringing Hugo on. He had 1 defender on that bench, okay? Evra. I don't even get it. The whole thing is just looks like a joke from the outside looking in. You don't even wonder what's going on. What's in people's mindsets? Tonight, I don't even think we played awful. We didn't play that bad. I thought we moved the ball about okay. We were lacking a bit of cutting edge, we're lacking creativity. But the players, I thought, were trying to an extent. They were trying a little bit hard. It just comes down to the tactics. It comes down to that starting 11. In fact, there's only probably 1 guy out there that's capable of sticking the ball in the net, and Arnautovic. You stop Arnautovic, you stop West Ham United. Until we get Hernandez and Lanzini back on the pitch, that is how you stop West Ham. You stop our 1 guy up front, then you stop us. Luckily, Andy Carroll come on the pitch and come up with a moment of individual brilliance. I will call it that because I think it is a fantastic volley. Superb cross from Creswell. It was about the third one he did in the game. The other one was disallowed. But tonight, we've got a point against Stoke. But this is what I said. I remember saying this about the end of Bilic's reign. When the game's finished, we've got more questions than answers. And this is starting to happen with David Moyes now. We're all coming up with questions more than answers. If you're not going forward in football, you're going backwards, and we're definitely starting to go a little bit backwards here, and I don't like it. But anyway, Tom, we've got a point, so we're going to do it. There was players out there that played really well tonight for West Ham. Let's not shy away from that. We've all praised them, etc. But who was your man of match?
It's a close one for me between Declan Rice and Noble. I'm going to go Noble, mate. I'm going to go Noble. I thought Noble's passing day was fantastic. It was sublime at times, you know. And no, he gets a lot of petals of a lot of people, Noble, and he was good today. Noble.
Gonzo, I think I know who you're going to give it to, but who's your man of match?
Yeah, Noble, Ogbonna, Rice were the standout West Ham players for me today. I'm giving it to Declan Rice, though. Declan Rice doesn't just get better by the game. He gets better with every 5 minutes he spends on that football pitch. And by the end of it, he was reading the game well, and he was carrying the ball out of defence. Not only that, he was feinting one way and then going the other and making the attacker look like a mug. What a player. We have got a real gem on our hands. So Declan Rice with a bubbly, if he's allowed to drink it today.
Yeah, I think Declan Rice was superb as well. I know that incident Tom was talking about in the first half. Doof beat Creswell in the air, and Doof got up faster, but luckily Rice read it perfectly well and just went in behind and picked the ball up and continued. I know what you're talking about. I think he feigned Shaqiri or something. He pretended to pass it to Zabaleta, just went inside and around him, and they all pushed up. Superb. I'm going to agree with Tom and go with our captain tonight. I thought he was brilliant. I'm actually tempted to give it to Andy Carroll, in all honesty. He was only on the pitch for 5 minutes, but I'll tell you what, he caused more trouble for that Stoke defence than anyone else in that 5 minutes he was on the pitch. He had he had a penalty claim. He had a debatable goal disallowed at the end for handball. You can argue that Shawcross is holding him, which makes it hit his hand. Then he gets that volley at the end. What more could you ask for? But I'll tell you what, this is where, in the preview, I described Andy Carroll as David Moyes' Achilles heel. Well, Andy Carroll scored, so Leicester next. We'll see what David Moyes is going to do. But anyway, that's it from us at Hammers Chat. That's been Gonzo, that's been Tom, I've been Gio. Make sure you drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Been a bit negative, you think we'd lost, but we've actually got a point. So you can let us know in the comments below what you think, if you agree with us or disagree with us. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. We've got an Antonio signed shirt we're giving away just now. There's a video on your screen right now, a cup of tea with me and Gonzo. Just leave a comment on there and subscribe to the channel and you are entered. Me and Gonzo hopefully have another video coming up this week before our preview of the Leicester game. Join you in a bit.